So we learned that a quadratic equation, I'm going to write QE over here, can be has a graphical representation of basically being a smiley face or being a sad face. And what we want to do over here is we want to see a really special point with these smiley faces or these sad faces. So if I draw my axes over here, this being my x-axis, that being my y-axis, let's say I have a quadratic equation. And what I do is I basically go ahead and I draw the smiley face for that quadratic equation. Now my smiley face turns out to be something like so. Now this point over here is really special to me. This point is what I call a root. I call this point a root of this following equation, whatever this was, because I got this smiley face from this equation, and that smiley face touched the x-axis at a particular point. Let's say that point, this was 1, this was 2, and this was 3. So the root to this equation would basically be x equals 3. A root is a point where your quadratic equation, or the smiley face of that quadratic equation, touches the x-axis. Sometimes, let's say you have a different quadratic equation, so I'm just going to draw it with a different color so you guys can know it's a different quadratic equation. Let's say your quadratic equation did something like this. So in this case, this time you had a different quadratic equation and you turned out to get a sad face from that quadratic equation. And that sad face basically touched the x-axis at 2 points. Let's say this point was -1. In this case, your quadratic equation would have two roots. One would be -1, and the other one would be +3. So these are your two roots. Let's say you had a different quadratic equation, and for that one, I'm just going to erase this. You had a different quadratic equation, so this is QE. And for that equation, your smiley face was way up over here. Now in this case, you would have no real roots, because you can clearly see your smiley face does not touch the x-axis anywhere. Let's say you had a different quadratic equation, and you basically got a sad face from that equation, and it was something like this. In this situation, your sad face does not touch the x-axis anywhere, so your quadratic equation would have no real roots again, no real roots. So you basically have three possibilities with any of your quadratic equations. And those three possibilities are you either have one real root, you either have two real roots, or you have no real roots. And we'll learn how to find these and how to draw these smiley faces and these sad faces and how to figure out if our quadratic equation makes a smiley face or makes a sad face. We will learn how to do all of that. But just for now, you guys need to know what roots are. And basically roots are points where your smiley face or your sad face touches the x-axis. And with these quadratic equations, you can have three possibilities. Those possibilities, I've shown you all of those possibilities. You can either get one real root, you can get two real roots, or you can get no real roots.